In the early 1800s, in Valle Crucis, North Carolina, a family farm was built. Today, the Mast Farm Inn is an award-winning bed and breakfast owned by the Deschamps family.
I've enjoyed my many visits here to the Mast Farm Inn over the years, and it's one of those places that is easy to say what's not to love. You know, the Mast Farm Inn embodies history, wonderful aspects of nature, and the food, well, the food is absolutely fantastic.
Danielle, my gosh, you've got so much history here.
There is a lot of history here.
Well, tell me about that, the Mast Farm Inn.
Well, basically, Mr. Mast decided to go on a hike and walked from Pennsylvania to here.
Wait. He walked from Pennsylvania to this part of North Carolina.
Yes, sir, to the valley, and traded his dog, a rifle, and a pair of pants.
Dog, rifle, pants.
Yeah, for about 1,000 acres today.
Wow.
I don't know if I would trade in my puppy dog, but for 1,000 acres, you never know. And that is basically what is Valle Crucis today, is that 1,000 acres. And built the Loom House over here, which is the oldest inhabitable house in Western North Carolina to date. It is the oldest house you can actually live in.
What year was this?
It was built in 1806.
1806, wow.
You see those little rectangles? We've obviously filled it in with cement, but before that used to be openings. That's how they used to protect the property. They used to shoot at an intruder without having to go out.
This is amazing.
It really is. And I mean, as you can tell, we've modernized it a little bit without really taking away from the old. This is the original gun that they used to protect the property. Over here, you have quite a few of the original artifacts because she did use this cabin as the room she used to weave in. In fact, there was a big loom over here, I want to say.
So it was called the Loom House because she would actually make
quilts, yeah. She was very famous for her quilts. In fact, there is one in the Smithsonian and one in the White House today.
Wow.
So it's pretty awesome.
So most of the beams in here are original. I mean, just the richness of the colors are amazing.
Absolutely, and if you actually look over here, this is where she used to hang the quilts as she was working them, which is really neat.
You know, a few years ago when I came, I stayed here. I mean,
Did you really?
I wanted to stay here because I felt like, you know, it's like you can just feel the history.
You really can.
It's amazing.
The smell from the fireplace. This is the original fireplace with the original.
So this is all original?
Original rock, yes.
So Danielle, I'm guessing this is a very popular place for people to stay.
It is, it is. It's actually considered, I guess, the honeymoon suite. We get a lot of couples in this room, especially after they had their wedding.
Super. Well, why don't we take a look at some more?
All right, sounds good.
This is amazing. So Danielle, this is the main house. It's beautiful.
This is the main house. It is gorgeous. And you can tell how it was built in several different stages. See that first white beam right next to the fireplace?
So that first part where the chimney is, that was the first?
That was the original house. And then they added to the second beam over here.
Okay.
And the third half was not added, the third, I guess, was not added until, I want to say, the late 1920s, early 30s.
Is that basically where the kitchen is now?
Exactly.
Okay.
The kitchen used to be separated from the main house because, of course, they were always scared that the kitchen caught fire and then would set the house on fire and so on.
So when your family bought the property, I mean, was it did all of you come together at the same time?
We did. We came all at the same time and we kept everything the same for about a year. It took a long time, but we're finally done. We've renovated all 7 rooms and all 5 old cottages. That took about 4 or 5 years.
So everything's good now?
Everything's up to date. Everything's great.
That's fantastic. So let's look inside.
It really is. It's a beautiful house. You definitely feel like you're stepping back in time as soon as you walk in here.
Danielle showed me the gorgeous rooms upstairs, each one individually decorated with beauty and charm. The plaques on the doors show the name of the person associated with the room they stayed in.
And then you have the Elizabeth Gray Vining Room. She's a famous author, and she actually used to come spend the summers up here and write her books in that room. And that's where the youngest son, Joe Mast, used to stay. He was actually blind. Rumor is that he used to have a string going from each of the cabins in the house so he could get around without needing anybody's help.
Now, when he was here, were people coming to stay here at that time?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, so they were taking boarders in then?
Yeah, absolutely. And then over here you have Nell's room. Since he was blind, he definitely needed a lot of help around, and she took care of him. She made sure he had everything he needed whenever he needed. And this is my favorite room of all time. This is Cousin Sarah.
Oh, what a
I
beautiful
love this room. I love the tub in the middle of the room. I love the little alcove over here. And you still have your standard bathroom and shower.
Okay, all right. So is this one of the favorite rooms in the house?
It definitely is, yes.
I can see why.
Yeah.
Very relaxing.
Very.
The rooms at the inn are incredible, but that's not the only thing people come here for. The Mast Farm Inn is famous for its exquisite food, served in the home-style restaurant called Simplicity at the Mast Farm Inn.
Yum. Very delicious.
Very delicious. The vegetables from the garden were exquisite.
After an extensive search for an executive chef, Danielle's family found Andrew Long, practically in their own neighborhood.
Thank you.
With his French-rooted New Southern cuisine, Chef Long specializes in a farm-to-table menu.
Liz, what are you doing?
I'm licking the spoon.
Licking the spoon. I knew I'd find you up here. Oh my, is that pheasant?
It is.
Have you tried it yet? Well, I see you're licking the spoon. You know, Liz is our food guide, and really what that means is she finds food and you eat it.
And I guide you. Yes,
That's right.
and I eat it. That's the best part.
The patrons enjoy a delectable menu with locally grown organic vegetables, herbs, and yes, local free-range chicken eggs. This was the granary where food for the animals was kept, but now it's a favorite accommodation on the property. You know, you have to be excited about living here, about working here. I know it's hard work, but what a beautiful place.
Yes, I love my job. It is hard, but you know, guests leave really happy. The guests really enjoy it. They really feel like they're out in the middle of nowhere, but you know, they're still pretty close to all three towns, Boone, Blowing Rock, and Banner Elk. And again, it's very hard to find a place like this.
It's such a relaxing, rejuvenating experience.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, thanks, Danielle.
You are
it's
most welcome,
wonderful.
Carl.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad that we met.
I'm so glad we met as well. And hopefully you'll come back for years to come.
I will.